to another episode of
Mum
and Son. I'm Jay, I'm the son.
I'm Alicia, and I'm the mum.
Hope everyone's doing well and enjoying life wherever you may be or wherever you may be going through. We're looking to bring another episode to make sure you're staying on track like always. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. Let's hope that you've been listening to what we've been saying in the previous episodes, that you've been learning something from it and taking it in, and also leaving your comments to let us know how you've been getting on, I guess.
Yep, exactly that. Today's one is something that's important. Some people may say it's the key to everything or most things.
Yeah, definitely. And today we're going to talk about consistency, keeping things consistent, and how to do that, or how best to do it in our view, and you know, the reason why it's very important to do, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Now, in being consistent and consistency and things like that, I never recognized, but now having gone through life and looking back at things, I realized that had I been more consistent in certain things, it might have actually worked out. And it may have happened.
Absolutely. And it definitely probably would have happened.
Yeah.
If you hadn't, you know, I mean, although this video is not about quitting, you know, not quitting and being consistent definitely will in the long run get you to where you want to go. I think so.
I believe so. You know, it sometimes can sound like a cliche or something like that, but it's almost as if, using an analogy, when you are even driving a car or something's going on, if you're not consistent in you keep going
and progressing
and progress, because I guess a part of consistency is progression. Isn't it? Then you'll never reach no destination if there's no consistency and no progression going on.
And so why, in your view, do you feel it is important to be consistent, you know, based on what you just said, that if you had been consistent, things that you wanted to achieve would probably have been achieved by now? What do you feel, in your view?
Well, I mean, I think it's important because I think consistency is... Here's the thing. I believe that you can be motivated to do something initially. But if that motivation runs out and it's gone, like that burst of, yeah, I'm ready to take this on, I'm going to do it, let me go for it. And if you go for it and then things don't happen as fast as you want them to, or you hit a little hurdle, or you hit an obstacle, which is probably something that we could do an episode on as well, like obstacles and so on.
Overcoming.
But you hit an obstacle or something like that. Sometimes you use those things as a reason to say, maybe this isn't for me, or that motivation that you had to actually start has been blown out. The wind has been blown out of your sails. So with consistency, it's almost as if no matter what happens to you, I'm going to consistently persevere. Work on myself and keep going, regardless of whatever the appearance feels like at this moment, regardless of the hurdle or the obstacle or whatever else. And looking back at myself, I realized sometimes when those things did come up, or there might have been a success or something, but it wasn't to the level that you wanted it to. You felt like, well, it was a waste of time.
It was short-lived.
Or, like, this is too, or if it's an obstacle, well, this is too hard, or, this has happened, so therefore maybe it wasn't meant to happen. But the truth is, the fact you were no longer consistent is probably the main reason why nothing ever did.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, with consistency, not just will you have to overcome obstacles, and as you said, things, you know, happen, and then you think, oh gosh, forget about it, or you know, this is a bad sign, shouldn't be doing it, you know, whatever it is. There are so many things that are going to happen in our life while we're trying to get on and fulfill an objective or a dream or a goal. And as we're working towards that goal, If you are not consistent in what you are doing, in your methods and how you are working towards achieving them, then it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen. I can kind of say that because I believe if you're not consistent, you're not creating the situations, circumstances for whatever you want to happen to unfold. You know, and it doesn't matter how consistent you know, what I want to say is, sorry, let me repeat this. It doesn't matter how you apply that consistency. Even if it is a little thing every day. Do you know what I mean? But applying it in your own way every day and being consistent with it to the best of your ability will help you move forward towards attaining that goal or fulfilling that goal or attaining the success that you want in whatever you're doing. You know, failure to apply even a little measure of consistency is working your way to a downward spiral. That's my view. Now, I guess what we can talk about is how do you change what you're doing now to kind of transition from inconsistency to being consistent. I guess that's what a lot of people be thinking about. How do you do that? I mean, any ideas or?
Well, I think you should know more because you're naturally someone who is more consistent. You know,
yeah,
and that's how you've sort of always been.
Yeah. Okay.
So what makes you, or like, how do you? What makes it not necessarily easy for you? Because it must be easier now to stay consistent because it's a part of you. But how do you go about doing it?
Okay, all I do is this. Once I make a decision that I am going to do something, I just apply myself to it, regardless of what happens. Now, the key to applying yourself is just to give it the time of day or the time of, you know, say you have a whole day ahead of you. You have to squeeze in that little time or that little moment where you say, I'm going to apply myself to this. And you kind of, it's like brushing your teeth or something. You kind of say, no matter what time I wake up, I will make sure that when I wake up, I do this. You know, it becomes part of your routine or integrated into your routine that, you know, without doing it, you feel as if something's missing. So I would say you kind of start to incorporate it into your routine, into your lifestyle. And, you know, what you have to understand is it doesn't have to be something huge. It can just be something little. It's like, you know, say, for example, some of the people that are watching may say, right, they want to exercise. And just making a decision that you're going to exercise at least once a day and you stick to it in your own way. Sometimes you'll have a bit more time, sometimes you'll have less, but it's the thing of deciding that you are going to do this no matter what. Even if it's a small, you know, say even if I say I'll exercise for 10 minutes, that will be enough. You've been consistent enough. So I think it's making a decision to do it, deciding it's going to become part of your strategy or your lifestyle. You commit to it, so you don't put other things above it. You say no matter what, sometime during the day. Prioritizing it, absolutely. So you say, listen, it is a priority. I've promised to do this. I've promised to myself, or I've promised to others, I will do this. And you just stick to it and you do it. And although you might not see immediate progress, if you are consistent, say on a daily basis or weekly basis, depending on what it is, so long as you are consistent, you will start to reap the rewards in the long run. You will start to look at your efforts and see that in some way they are helping you progress.
Yeah, and that's amazing what you said. And what I take away from it as well is, especially what you mentioned was, it's like it can be something small. As well, because I
don't
think
feel it's like
some of us, when we are, and I'm just talking from like a place of feeling enthusiastic, motivated. Yeah, I'm ready to take this on. I'm ready to smash it. And then some of the time, you can make the consistent thing to start with so huge again and again and again that sometimes you can burn yourself out. Yeah, you can burn yourself out quickly. And I think what you said, even if you start off with something small, so let's say for the exercise thing, you could have some people like, I'm gonna do this cardio workout that's crazy, insane, but I'm gonna get the results in the next 8 weeks, so it's worth doing. But then sometimes you could do that, and after one thing, you're like, actually, this blew me out. I can't walk no more. So sometimes you're like definitely right. But if you're someone who also says, hey, let me do 10 minutes, and it might be a light jog or jumping jacks or whatever it is, or like a bit of strength training, just doing something like that, it's like, wow, that felt great, and I can come back tomorrow, and I can do it again, and then maybe next week you may move it up to 11 minutes or something, and then you're going forward in small increments. And I think that's the main thing, is start, as long as you start and you stick to it, that's the main thing.
That's all it is.
But because sometimes we can be focused on, but this feels very small, I should be doing more, but there's no point in doing more if it will blow you out, and you won't be doing it in the long 2 weeks time, and then you won't do it. So start off with small, whatever you can, small, and build up on it.
Yeah, you can always build up.
To be consistent in it.
With anything you can build up. Say like even me, like writing, you could say, okay, I'm going to dedicate 30 minutes a day to writing, and it doesn't mean that 2 weeks away you can't turn that 30 minutes into 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean that it has to be a specific amount every single time. You can be flexible in reducing or expanding your commitment, so long as the commitment is continuous.
That's it.
And is there. Yeah. You can expand on it or you can reduce it. That's giving yourself flexibility. Even say some people are writing a journal or a diary, and they say, right, I'm going to make sure I write something in my journal or my diary every day. And then, one day you might write loads of things, and then in another you might write a line. It doesn't matter, so long as whatever you've taken your time to do, you're doing it in a big or little way. It's up to you. So long as you continue, though, doing it. That's the key, I think. And it's hard when other things are going on in your life. And, it's hard to stick to.
And that's something that I was going to say as well, based on what you said, is it will also be somewhat of a challenge or difficult for people to do when they may have their lifestyle or routines pretty set in a certain way. To then add this in and then make it a part of their routine. But I think the more consistent you are, the more it just fits in.
Begins to integrate into your lifestyle. That's what I said earlier. Integrate it into your lifestyle, so it's like, something has just become a part of you to do. Yeah. That's it. It's just part of you.
Sometimes we may do things, and for that teething period, it feels a bit forced.
Yeah.
You're thinking like, oh, it's still not natural to me. I'm having to maybe, some people may say force themselves or make an extra effort to fit this in. Yeah. And that's because it feels uncomfortable still, because you've been used to a certain way. Yeah. But if you just keep going with it, you eventually break into it.
You break through.
You kind of break through, and then it just becomes natural, just a part of...
I agree. Like sometimes with these things, especially if it's something that you've not really done before, you will have to break through a certain barrier.
So you will face sometimes that...
There'll be like resistance
or
even.
A resistance,
that you have to, break through. And you find that, when you break through that barrier, that resistance, or that objection, you are moving forward.
Yeah.
And you've overcome it. You know, you've overcome, it's like going up a hill. You had to get to the top of it. And now it's like, you know, you're on a plateau, you can keep going. But it was strenuous going up initially, you know, like riding a bike up a hill or something, you know, but once you're up there, it's cool, you can keep going, and then you can even maybe ride your way down.
It's absolutely true. And so I guess because we've talked about it from all parts, inconsistency, making it a priority,
and
that's
then important,
everything else. But what about for the people who say, is it worth it because I'm not seeing what I want yet? Is it ultimately going to be worth it? What's your sort of solution or answer to that?
I feel that depends greatly on what it is. It is what I feel, things that you do from the heart and coming from, you know, a heartfelt place, you naturally have the enthusiasm and ability to do. So incorporating that as part of your lifestyle, or, you know, as a priority, can be just a matter of it unfolding and just evolving with you, alongside you. But if it's something that, you know, you may be, I don't know, trying to achieve, that your heart may not be fully in it, and you might be trying to do it maybe for the wrong reasons, or, you know, varying degrees, whatever it is, those things may be harder to remain consistent and to see through. So I think if it is like an internal passion or desire, you have the ability to stick with it longer. You know, because you're not putting any you know, you're not saying, oh, this didn't happen, so, you know, forget it. I mean, obviously we do that sometimes, but you're thinking, I love
those
this.
conditions don't make or break it.
They don't make or break it. I love that. But you're doing it with a bit of passion and will and enthusiasm. So it's like, I'm not too worried that this happened and that happened. I do believe in myself. Self-belief is really important when you are doing something and you need to do it consistently. You must believe in yourself. You must encourage yourself. You must support yourself, because someone else may not do that.
And maybe we do an episode on that as well.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But then,
we haven't done it already, but you must.
No, but it's true.
You know, because
huge. That's huge.
For you to be consistent, you must believe in what yourself and what you're doing.
That is true.
And you must come from a place that, you know what, nothing is going to dissuade me from this objective. You know what I mean? I'm going to stick with it, because I know if I'm consistent, I'm going to be, you know, it's like even when you have, you start, say, a social media account and you start posting. If you're not going to be consistent with what you're posting, then you're not going to build easily.
That's very true.
Are you? You're going to, people say, oh, she posted or he posted last week, said they would post again, and then they haven't. It's like this, like with this episode, we have to be consistent.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's true. And I think that's a good example that you picked, because when you do something like that and then you stop, say for your example, you actually stop posting, you then in some way cement or wire yourself to feel like I'm a failure a bit, because you then do that, and then let's say you then try to lose weight or something, and then you give up on that, and then it becomes some kind of habit.
Giving up can become...
and then it becomes some habit of, well, I failed last time on that, and I failed on this, I guess
that's how I am.
That's how I am. I can't change it. Like it starts to become, do you know what I mean?
Habit. It's true.
It can become a
habit. It's very good you mentioned that. Very good, because consistency, when you are consistent for a certain period but then you give up, it's a different thing if you say, you know what, I have done this for you know, 5 years or whatever,
Sure.
and you feel happy that you've now achieved your goals.
Yeah.
So you say to yourself, I'm going to wrap this up now and move
Yeah.
on to something else. That's different. But, you know, if you're finding that every little thing that you try to achieve, you're consistent for a little while and then you give up, or an obstacle comes your way and you think, oh my gosh, that's it, I'm done. You know, if you give up easily, then you're not being consistent. And that brings us back to what we said in the very beginning is, you know, if you're not going to be consistent, things are not going to happen.
It's true.
Things are not going to unfold for you, or your goals will not be reached because you're not being consistent enough to reach them.
Yeah.
You know, and you know something I just mentioned quickly, that consistency is like a discipline. You know, it's a form of discipline that if you can remain consistent, the discipline that you acquire as part of that journey means you'll be ready to undertake whatever it is you're aiming for or your goals are geared toward.
That is true.
You can't just jump to the end of the line and think, you know, I'm here now. What did you learn? What did you build on? What did you acquire? What are the disciplines that got you there?
Yeah.
If you get them through your consistency, then when you get to the end of your journey of what it is you wanted or as part of your goal, you'll be worthy of it then.
That's very true, and I think that's interesting you talked about that, because that discipline, you have to think that even if whatever your goal is, if it's something that you can get but can also, if you don't sustain it, it can also go and be taken away or vanish.
Yeah.
When you work on something consistently and you become disciplined in something, even if that thing was to go, you can make it again because you have the foundational skills and the discipline to create it again to even go to a next level.
Yeah. Absolutely.
As well. So that's also key, is when you're being consistent and you're building that, having that.
Yeah.
No one can take it away, but it's the engine that can create and make you do more ultimately, or do the same thing again. Yeah,
because it's been part of your journey.
It's been part of it, and playing a big part in actually
helping you
getting you there and making it happen.
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, being consistent, I guess, covers all these things. Actually, we could do separate episodes for, you know, things like discipline and things like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're all each got their own individual thing. But, you know, with regard to the consistency of it, I just felt that was important because I realised that, you know, in order to remain consistent, you have to undertake or accept certain disciplines within you to, you know, continue. And if you don't have them, you've got to build on them, or you've got to create them.
And that is very true, because going back to what you talked about with, let's say, people who may want to lose weight and get into better health, there could be a consistency in inconsistency.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I mean? And
consistency in inconsistency.
And when you talk about building that discipline and skills, that's what it's supposed to do. It irons out the inconsistent habits that you're building up, and those bad habits, and keeping it in a much more positive, in a much better habits and everything, so that you are just consistent, which means you have progress. When you look at it overall, there's progress.
Correct.
Whereas being consistent in inconsistency could be, I did well here, I've gone back down, I've done well again, I've gone back down, and overall that doesn't get you nowhere. Because you know it's not going upwards. It's not going like up, down. So, and that leads to failure. I'm sorry. And then ultimately it definitely will. So you're right. I think the discipline and that you build up is also just as important as it is to what you're trying to reach or attain or achieve. it's also that discipline that you build up.
It's crucial. And you know what? Sometimes along the way of your journey or your goal, along the way, if you manage to build on your consistency and you manage to kind of work towards it, you may feel, I need to kind of start moving in a different direction. And there's no problem with that. Having the flexibility to be consistent and then feel like you need to move on another path, but remain consistent with that. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't see that as a failure. If you were consistently doing something and now you want to add or sort of move in a different direction, say like if we're talking about exercising, which we haven't today, I don't know why, but anyway we are, but say you started off that you were doing a certain workout. As you went along, you were consistent, and as you went along, you felt, you know what, I want to incorporate a bit of a yoga or something like that as part of it, and then you start moving, so long as you remain consistent, there's no harm in that. People don't need to kind of be too rigid, be flexible, but at the same time, just keep things going, keep building on them, keep growing them. But be consistent in whatever you feel you need to, and this can be across the board. If, like if you're a parent and you do something for your children or your family and you've committed to doing it, like maybe could be something even that has a large gap. Like you may say that every summer we go somewhere and do something, if you continue with that and everyone is happy with that, then it's a nice, consistent thing that you do in your life. Obviously we talked about other things like exercise and...
No, but you're right.
But they could be larger things like that. If you promise your children or your parents or your sisters or brother that you're going to do something and you do it consistently, it builds trust.
Yeah, that's true.
It builds, even with the, like, say, the social media example, when you say you post often, you build trust.
Build trust
so people value those disciplines that are required to get you there. And it can be broad. And
I totally agree. And going back to what you said with the example of the social media and stuff, you're right. You build trust with your audience or people out there. And then even what I was talking about, when with someone tries something and gives up, when you are consistent with yourself, you also build trust with yourself. That I trust myself to see it through.
Yes.
Or to do it.
It's like a bond you make with yourself. If you say, like, I decide to do this, it's like a pact you made with yourself that I will do it and I'm going to see it through. And maybe all important things like that, you have to start off with that pact or that bond, with yourself to do it, to see it through, to achieve it. That's a good one.
That's true.
Having that inner trust to say, like, I believe it and I'm trusting in myself that I am going to do this and, see it through.
That is true.
It's powerful. And when you come from that place and you feel happy about doing or aiming for that thing from that place, then it's so much easier, I think.
I agree.
Than coming from a hard kind of, gonna slog it out and, if I don't, if you're like that, you're gonna...
And
it's not going to be long lasting.
And I think as well, because sometimes you're using a sense of willpower, but as you said, sometimes it can, or talking about what we talked about, it can sometimes burn you out or last so long before you've lost the will to do it anymore. Yeah. Or the motivation that you had that got you going has dwindled away. Kind of dwindled. Yeah. Because it was like a spurt. So that's why consistency, sort of going back to what I said as well, originally I look back at certain things and I go, do you know what, if I had
carried on
or instead of making it this big thing all of the time and did it in small chunks, I probably would have stuck with it. Or if an obstacle or something did come, or if something happened but my patience wasn't there and I was like, it's been a waste of my time, is it worth it, and stuff like that. Had I just kept going on, something definitely would have happened. So consistency, as they say, is definitely key.
I agree.
It's so important.
I agree. You know, and no matter what you're doing, if you set your mind and your heart to it and you decide that, you know, you are going to do it, do your very best to be consistent.
Yeah, and as you said, start small.
Perfect.
Just start small.
Nothing.
And then you can...
Yeah, because if it becomes a huge overnight
I think
step,
that's what some people do.
It's going to be out of, you know, out of what you do normally. If you gently kind of weave it in, it's going to be long lasting.
It will just be a gradual, a gradual thing that will transition itself
with you as you continue and continue and
I think that's the best way to start. Because you also learn patience, you also learn to just focus as much as you can on the small things, and that's what's going to lead to, as you said, adding things additionally to make it. But you'll have a better foundation to build it on because the discipline is properly being built, and
your disciplines are growing. You know, you haven't jumped from 0 to 100 and say, you know, you just like you've blown yourself.
And you blow yourself out. Yeah.
Your disciplines are growing stronger day by day as it becomes part of your lifestyle, and you accept it, and then you kind of building on it all the time. It's far, far easier. But we did a episode on patience. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. But wow, like I hope everybody felt that they have learned something from this little kind of chat we've had in this episode about consistency. I even as we've been talking, I've been growing and learning.
Yeah, it's always
as we've been along, because
we touched the tip of the iceberg.
And we tried to cover many aspects, but it's with everything.
Yeah,
you know, if the subjects we spoke about don't kind of fit in with your situation, you know, just understand that it's across board, and it is. You know, you can apply what we've said in any situation. I reckon
it is relationships,
everything. Relationships,
health,
all the things,
money, finance,
everything
can be applied to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter what it is. Just be consistent, stick at it, let it grow, let yourself grow as a person with it, and before you know it, everything will have been realized, and you've got to your end of your goal, I guess, or the end of your desire, and you find that you're achieving what you want to achieve.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And you build that trust with yourself as well.
Yeah, like that.
If it's externally with someone else, you build it with them, that audience or that person or them.
Yeah.
So
and trust in another person, and if it's family, your family trust, and they know and they believe in you because they know that you've made whatever it is that you've promised, or whatever, you're consistent with it, and you've made it happen every year, every week, whenever.
Yeah.
You know, across board there.
Definitely.
So I hope you did love that. Well, let us know. Put your thoughts and views in the comments below. We look forward to reading them and responding to them. And, you know, maybe we've been thinking about doing a few kind of live streams. Maybe we'll be doing some of those soon, and look forward to that as well. So, keep us posted on things, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Yep, and if you like this episode, feel free to check out others as well. And if you want to know about any episodes coming up in the future, then hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be up to date with that. And as well as that, you like this, then give it a thumbs up. We always appreciate that. And as I said before, you can check out our other videos too. So I guess this is it. So for now, this is MumNSon, and we are done. Until the next one. See you then.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.